Let's have a conversation about containers. Now, containers are brilliant. Everybody knows that. I use Docker constantly. It's always running in the background on my PC. I even use it to run my Kubernetes installations. So I'm using Docker for everything. But I don't use Docker files very much. I think that the mechanism for building images using Docker files, it has some problems, especially if you try to scale it. The thing that worries me most is how complex it is. If you look at the Dockerfile reference, it's very, very complex. And if you're going to run containers that are specified using Dockerfile in production, then you pretty much have to be an expert. In fact, when Snyk looked at this, they said that the top 10 most popular Docker images on Docker Hub contain at least 30 vulnerabilities. And then there's the scalability problem. If you have a microservice architecture where you have hundreds of applications, then you possibly have hundreds of Docker files, and that's going to be a problem, especially when it comes to patching and maintaining those applications over time. So many years ago, Heroku came up with the idea of Buildpacks. More recently, that became a standard under the CNCF, the same people who look after Kubernetes, and you can find out all about that initiative on this website, buildpacks.io, which includes a really handy tool for using Buildpacks. So if you scroll down here and start the tutorial, then you can use this link here to install the pack tool. Now, the pack tool is the tool that you'll use on the command line to build applications into images. So here's my code. Let me show you the application itself. It's very simple. It's just a Flask application. I've not chosen anything fancy. The application's not important here. What's important is how we're building the container image. So you'll notice there's no Dockerfile here, but I do have a requirements text file which specifies which dependencies my Flask application has. In this case, it's Flask and markup safe. I do have a proc file also that's telling the Buildpack what command line to use. So let me show you that. There it is. Okay, so I have everything that I need to use Buildpacks. I've already downloaded the pack tool, so let me show you the help for that straight away. You can also use different builders, so let me show you the builders that are available. As you can see, there are builders that can come from Google or Heroku or Paketo, which is essentially Cloudfoundry. So I'm using Heroku at the moment. I've set that as my default with the set default command, so I'm ready to build. So I do pack build, and then I give the image an image name, and off it goes. So what the Buildpack will do is it will examine my code, figure out that it's a Python application, bring in pip so that I can have all my dependencies installed through pip, and bring in the Python runtime and an operating system. In this case, it's Heroku 18, which is basically based on Ubuntu. And it's done. So now I can run my application. So if I do docker run, give it a port and give the correct image name. There we go, it's running in the background. So if I do http://8080, which was the port, there we go, hello world. So that's brilliant.